So here we are in Illustrator, and I've spoken to a couple of you about, wanting to make a logo using fonts, or a few of you have tried to create your own fonts. And it is a very specific uh, art form, creating fonts, that is within the graphic design umbrella. These designers are called fontographers. They spend their whole lives studying typography and the creation of fonts. Um, and it is its own art form and job career path. So creating fonts is really hard, and it is tedious and detailed work, which has become easier with the advent of certain softwares that create font that are meant for the creation of font specifically. But my suggestion for those of you who are creating logos or wanting to create your own fonts is to, rather than trying to create the font themselves, but modify existing fonts, because you're going to be dealing with a base structure that has some symmetry and uniformity that will save you a lot of time and frustration. So with that said, there are a ton of fonts that and many logos are use existing fonts. So you can pick from the great many fonts um, that come loaded with the Adobe products. Now, some of you may not have um, all of the fonts that I was just showing, because I do have some of my personal fonts loaded on this computer. Uh, but the other thing that you can do is head over to fontsquirrel.com. Unfortunately, we don't have access through the school's Creative Cloud to the Adobe Typekit, which is very similar, but you can come to the Font Squirrel, and this has been around for about 15 years. It is open source font library that has thousands of fonts in it, and they're always getting new ones. And these are free for you to use. They have different types of fonts. Let's say you were looking for something kind of retro, you can click on retro, and you can scroll through all of what they have under the retro fonts. Um, if I also wanted maybe to look at black lettering, I can look at the mixture. I'm going to take the retro off and see if I can just look at black lettering and find the font that I like. So I'm going to go back to those retro fonts. There's also hand-drawn, scary, there's decorative fonts, there's all sorts of stuff. And so right now what it's looking for, I'm trying to find a scary font that is also has black lettering. So that has kind of a creepy look that might cross over. So that's kind of neat. So I'm gonna uncheck these so you can find some black lettered scaried fonts that I can use for maybe Halloween this year. So I'm gonna get out of that, and I'm gonna go back to my retro fonts because I want to look at the retro fonts here. Um, so maybe I really like, I'm looking for something that has a bit of a um, maybe I'm looking for something that has like that look of lights on here. So I'm gonna choose this. Maybe I want to make some signage. I'm just gonna click on download the TTF. Now some of these are OTF, which is open type font, and this is true type font. There's different ones, the OTF or TTF. So once you find the font that you like, and you can certainly come in here and check it out, and some of them have more than one style. This one only has one style to it, and then you can just click on download TTF. Most Macintoshes, when you download something, it's going to go to your download file. So if I click on my Happy Mac, open the Finder window, click on Downloads, then I can see that there's a zip drive for that 42nd font that that I downloaded. So I'm gonna double click on that because it's a zip file. So it's gonna uncompress that zip file and open it up for me. And you'll see that there's a license fonts. So there's a little text document that just has licensing information in it. And then the actual font is here, which is the 42nd Street TTF file. So I'm gonna go ahead and double click on that TTF file. It's going to open up Font Book and it's going to install that font. And it said that there was a problem in validation, so I'm just going to go ahead and click and install checked. So if there's any issues, probably don't want to do that if there's any issues there, but I'm going to go ahead and throw caution into the wind. And then when I go ahead, I'm going to look up that 40 seconds. And there it is. It's already loaded into my computer and I have it right there. Now, that might mean that I can't really, maybe I want to modify this font a little bit, and I can't do that but too much, right? So yeah, I can stretch it and make it um, taller, bigger, wider, fatter, those kind of things, but I can't modify individual points. So if I wanted to do that, and I'm going to go back to this font here, this, I think it's, yeah, the Tickla. I'm going to use this font to make some modifications here. Oops, I'm trying to open a Premiere in the background. I'm going to quit that for you guys so it's not a problem again. So I have this font, and just like I did before with the gradient, I can turn this font using my black arrow tool, and I can open it and go to type and create outlines. And this is going to change that Y into a compound path. So now it is no longer editable type, but an actual shape that I can modify as I would like. So I can change things around, I can move points, and have some kind of base for that I'm working from, but I still have all the modification ability of any shape. So I can modify that shape. And then of course, I can do that with a whole line of text. So create outline, and then I have those individual shapes. So if I look at that logo, I'm going to close because I'm in a different layer actually here. So if I can see now, I've got all these compound paths, and if I want, I can ungroup them so they're no longer in that group, and I can move them around. I can make the L big and fat, and maybe move the O into this space. And I can change colors of the individual letters and then also modify them. So instead of creating your own font, I would suggest using an existing font, getting it as close as you can, and then outlining it to make modifications. I hope that helps.